to be honest, I think we will make a start if we can, ladies and gentlemen, so we can switch the dreaded machine on. And Malcolm, would you be so kind to lighten our darkness, please? I can see you then, those are any questions. Thank you. That's lovely. Right, any apologies for absence? I know
David sends his apologies.
Do we know why?
I think he's working actually.
Are we prepared to accept his apology? Those in favour, yes, thank you. Any declarations of interest, please? Bella.
Personal interest on 0716 00013.
Right. Bob is usual.
I'm a declaration on all the planning on predetermination.
Any others? Right, thank you.
Partial payment is the one.
Sorry?
Partial payment.
And a personal one,
Yeah, personal one.
Me as well.
That's trustees.
Oh.
Very good. Right, you've all had a copy of our last meeting's minutes. Anybody got any points of interest to raise in terms of accuracy, or are we prepared to accept them as they are?
Obviously there were a few points that we did alter after the last minutes were sent, and they've been altered duly, so they should be now correct. There's a
revised set.
Revised set.
Yes.
Version 6.
Have we got a set I can sign this?
You have leave this. There you go. 7 minutes.
Thank you. This is a bit longer. As we've got this as a hard copy, can we leave it out? Can we refer to it, please? It's easier than keep jiggling backwards and forwards on the electronics. Thank you. Okay, so planning application. Oh, did you drink? Have you finished your tea?
Not quite, but I'll come back later.
So the first one is 0716 0013.
Yes, no cottage. Yes, it's okay. Right. The proposal is for erection of a single-storey extension to the front southeast elevation on the site of a conservatory which will be demolished. And the location is Knoll Cottage, Battleborough Lane, Brent Knoll, and the applicant is Mrs. A. Barnes. Right. Right, I'll start off. There, okay, I've said that once. Right, this is a single-storey extension. This single-storey extension is to replace the conservatory, which is very slightly larger than the footprint, the original footprint. So in that sense, it's not noticeably really any bigger, except that it'll be a different shape. If we're going through my list here for highways, obviously there's no impact there because it's not going to have an effect on that. The design is in character with the house and will have no impact on other properties. It blends in very well. The landscape, obviously, that it's not going to alter the landscape because it's just replacing something which is there already. So it's not going to, there should be no impact on that. Material considerations, which are obviously to do with sites of special scientific interest and things like that, but there's no impact on that. The residential amenity is there's no loss of privacy or visual domination. So I note that you are going to have some windows which could be overlooking, but as you say, I know that there have been 2 letters from neighbours, and they're all in agreement that they're supporting it. The other thing which did come, with the application is, let's get it a minute. It's to do with flooding. I'll find it now, sorry. Yeah, this one. I haven't had one of these before, but they're obviously sending them out now. It's to do with, obviously, it's sent by the Environmental Agency, and it's to do with, obviously, a declaration of if there's any problem with flooding, and it is a form which comes in with the planning application, so obviously that goes forward to Sedgemore, and it covers anything, obviously to do with flood risk, etc. So that's that. So apart from that, I have got no problems, and sorry, I can't have a look at that, Peter. And what I've said is this is a very appropriate replacement to the conservatory and will enhance the character of the house. And I would say that I'll ask obviously the council to decide. I would recommend that obviously it's a very acceptable development, and there really aren't any problems.
Mr Chairman, can I propose that we accept this planning application, or we support it on the grounds that Cynthia says it's in keeping with the property, it's enhancing the property, and it's architecturally reasonable and significant. So I propose that we support it on those grounds.
All those in favour?
I would second that.
Thank you. Check's in the post.
Too late.
Next one is
Let me get the next one.
Is
I've got
the-
2 pieces in front of me. Which one's the next one?
this retrospective one on the bungalow.
Oh yes, right here.
That's been, isn't it?
So I want to go on Mr. Direct, yeah. That's it. Right, the next one is...
Triple O 15,
No, sorry about that.
which is Summerfield.
Okay, this is planning application for retention of a single-storey extension to the rear or north-east elevation and an erection of a detached garage. I think you probably all know where the property is. It's 16 Brent Street. Yes, that's right.
The old lady's stairs.
Yes, the old where Miss she used to live. Yeah. And it's from Mr. S. Dyke. Okay, and that is the application, and if anyone wants to look at...
Can I ask a question? When it's retrospective, do we look at it differently, or do we just take it
Well,
on, as on its own merit?
Take it-
Exactly the same as
take
doing
it
it on
on
its
its
own.
own.
Right,
This is a proposal for retention, so obviously that in
Oh,
itself
we did want to.
explains it. It doesn't say retrospective, they use the word retention, because it's obviously built, and they don't want him obviously to...
Someone unknown.
Right, okay. Okay, now, this application is for a retention of single-storey extension to the rear north-east elevation and direction of a detached garage. Reading through the application, the pre-application advice has been sought on the building control, reference the garage. No planning permission is needed if work is kept under 40 metres floor area and not over any drains. And that is obviously in the application. So he's spoken to them.
He knows the rules.
Yes, well, that's what they told him, and that's what is included in it.
Alright.
Right. And the retention of existing extension, obviously it's already built. It's a great improvement to the property, which was derelict. before it started. So in that sense, obviously building regs and everything are coming into it, but that's planning wise. I mean, there's not really any reason why we shouldn't recommend it.
Peter, did you?
Why is he asking for permission to keep the garage there if he doesn't need planning permission anyway?
Well, in his application, he's obviously sought there, I must read it, it's in here, there. So Mr. Grummett, and he's obviously taken advice, because it's pre-application advice, and
Yeah.
that is what they have said to him, and it's put in here, and I've read it.
Right,
Obviously it is applicable to the application, isn't it?
Well, just that Sedgmore knows the rules. doesn't he?
Well, he does, but he's put it in there, and I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you.
Sorry, can I just ask a question? So, if he's done that, does that mean he's gone to the planning people and said, look, I'm thinking of putting a garage here or doing this or that. If I submit a planning application, do you think that you will accept it, more or less, or is it within accepted guidelines? And they've said,
They
You
said,
don't need to.
but it said that
Phone building
building
control.
control, Mr. Grammett said, no planning permission was needed for the works,
Right.
kept under 40 metres floor area,
Permitted development.
and not build over any drains.
But then he was asking for permission to retain a single story, which obviously has been built
Correct.
in some time with no planning
Yeah,
permission.
he's asking
Yeah,
for
I've got no problem with
retention.
that.
Yes.
So if he was
Also-
paying for that, he's also thought just to cross
Yeah.
all the T's and dot the I's, then I
Yes,
will.
he's just to declare away, otherwise you have to go back again, won't
Yeah.
he?
That's what I'm saying, we're out being asked to agree with it or not, that's not necessary anyway.
No, it's a retention. It's a retention.
It's a
of the
retention,
Existing extension.
yes.
Yes, Margaret.
This site has been drastically changed and redeveloped, and there were some quite large trees in the frontage there. Were there any TPOs on those?
No idea. If there was, they'd have been round there.
I know it's a bit late now, but once they'd started, you couldn't,
Yeah.
and they'd chopped them down, you couldn't.
The comments from interested parties were quite interesting. The two
Yes.
key ones were the adjacent neighbours, both sides, one of whom I think we all know very well
Yes,
in
yes.
writing,
Positive
who likes to
comments.
write 800 words when one will do. And his missive likened the the pre-existing development as to Steptoe's Yard. And he said it's a far better site now than it ever was. And both neighbours were more than delighted with what's happened actually.
Yes, so, and 2 letters were received from neighbours with positive comments. Obviously the highway, there's no comments from them because obviously their existing access is the same. So on those grounds, I'd say that sympathetic improvement to the property and the surrounding area generally.
Can we
I
have a
don't know how you want to put that.
proposal to that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everybody.
Peter proposed it, I'll second it then.
The rule,
Yeah.
the rule, yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
And surrounding areas.
I think that's unanimous.
Mr Chairman, can I just say something about this business of retrospective
Yep.
planning? Might it not, I mean, I've got no problem with this at all. Might it not be an idea to put, say, in the PKN, a point about, if you're going to do something, check first of all if you need planning permission. Because I find, it doesn't matter in this case, but it's wasting our time, really, isn't it?
Well,
It does happen though,
yes,
doesn't it?
yes and no, because I was having a discussion this afternoon, and I just remind people of the castle that was built in Wiltshire and was buried behind a mountain of straw,
Yeah.
and after 8 or 9
Yes, I
years,
saw that.
it has now been demolished because even though he sought retrospective planning, or in fact he didn't get planning permission all along, then went for retrospective planning permission, it was never granted, and he was, I think he had a court case over 8 years to fight it, and it's now been demolished.
This is putting the cart before the horse. in my
Absolutely.
view.
The authorities will tell you that you don't need planning permission to do anything, as long as if you do apply, you stay within the rules and regulations.
Absolutely.
Mm.
I mean, I mean, yes, it's a good thing to say to people, perhaps, if you are thinking of doing any development, please consult relevant planning or building authorities, whatever, as a just gentle reminder. Perhaps we could talk to Bob about that, he's an expert.
Yeah.
You could even apply to build property on someone else's land.
Yes, you can.
With their permission.
I think what puts people off is the amount of money that it costs.
Yeah.
And it's quite daunting, you know, when you think, well, I want to build something and yet they want to charge me hundreds of pounds for me to see if I can build it, because they can come back with a no.
Yeah.
And then, you know, every visit is chargeable. But that advice, it all has a cost.
Okay. Moving on to the Menage.
Yes, right.
0016.
Yeah, that's right, 0016, yeah. Formation of, well, it's formation of horse riding arena, that's it. And that's on land to the east of Crooked Lane, opposite a corner house, Brent Knoll, for a Mrs. Mercer. Okay?
Sorry, is that, sorry to go to, is that opposite the red brick cottage that's right on the corner there? In the field?
It's adjacent to George's.
Yes, it's a new one, it's the one that's, if you come into Crooked Lane,
It's straight
and
ahead.
on the very sharp, it's the first little sharp bend,
Oh, the first bend, yeah.
you'll see there's a
Newish bungalow.
well,
Did they build in the
no, it's a house.
The
of
house.
the one in Station Road?
Pardon?
Did they build in that one in the garden
Yes.
of the house in
Yes,
Station
they
So
Road?
is this then the field that's just behind
Yes,
that?
it is.
Okay.
Yes, it's a big field, but it
Okay.
doesn't belong to those people.
Okay.
This lady lives in town.
George is the immediate neighbour.
Yes, he is.
Where does
He came to see me.
On Station Road.
Yes, anyway, that's where it is. And, right, the applicant has provided, I've been through this a little bit, back to front really, but again, we've had this flood risk assessment, which we've had with the Knoll Cottage. They're putting them in now, I haven't seen them before.
Oh, right.
Oh, well, no, actually, I'm telling a lie. No, that's not quite true. They've got their own flood risk assessment. I've got another one with the other property. They've given a flood risk assessment with this and obviously a design design statement for this development. It's already used as obviously the horses and ponies in there. She uses them with the children, but the land is already used for equestrian purposes. Now the checklist, obviously there is a design statement which is in here, and this regarding the use and the layout of the field. Highways, they're using the existing access, which is just slightly to the side, so there's not any alteration in that. Landscaping, well, obviously a menage is in the field, it's not going to affect anything. It's going to be, you know, obviously an area which they'll just develop within the scope of the field itself. Landscaping, the site is well screened by mature native landscaping. And surface water is going to be disposed by soakaway. Really, apart from that, there is one thing here which I was a little bit not sure about, because it says here on this flood risk assessment, the bottom, any intake for the electrical system will be 1.2 metres above the local ground level. Now, I don't know what that means. Does that mean
Fuse boxes and what have you.
Lighting.
what?
Lighting, electric
Yes, I know.
supply.
But they haven't said anything about lights.
Well, that doesn't matter, that's all it
It's
is.
in it.
Yeah.
That's all right. Well,
In case you want to ride in the dark, but then
but then
Well,
that's
if they put,
the
sorry, but
thing
if they
is-
put floodlighting in, just
That's-
supposing they put floodlighting in, it could
yes,
be a nuisance
Yes,
to
yes,
the
exactly.
existing, just like the tennis courts.
Yes.
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 We've had one comment already this afternoon, which you would be aware of, in respect of that very thing. George came up because he had some concerns initially over the
has
drainage.
he been here
He
tonight?
was here this afternoon,
Oh right, yes, because he came to see me,
and he said
Yes.
he'd seen you, and
and we
when
did
he
say that.
discussed it with the lady that wants this, clearly the nature of the material used for Menage is self-draining, and so it should be self-draining,
Shredded tyres.
I guess.
Yeah, the
But
shredded tyres.
equally, that will alleviate his problem, but the one concern he had was if they wanted to do anything at night,
Yeah,
he
that's what I
he
did
would
say
not
then.
want to have floodlights on there.
No.
And I think therefore anything we say to Sedgwick, can we put a rider on to
Yes,
say,
yes.
if the applicant wished to do anything at night, would they have to seek further planning permission?
Yeah.
Well, no, there are, I think, 4 houses behind there, and they probably might not like that. It depends which way the lights are going, and I think it's
Well,
something
there's a
that's really
separate, that
contentious.
could be a separate.
Yes, it
It's
is.
a separate issue.
But that actually, because it's not included in it, but it's obviously a statement, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, I mean, you want lights or...
Yeah, you
That's-
can't, otherwise in this winter time, there's no
That's it,
use.
yeah.
We've got low level
Yeah.
lights on ours, we could never have floodlights because
No.
obviously that would affect
Yeah.
No, that's true.
people.
Well, we set
However,
1.2 metres, well, that's not very,
No, absolutely.
quite low, is
4
it?
foot.
4 foot.
And that's just the half round side,
Yes.
you know, so it's just on the top of the fence, so you can see the fence. However, we've never ever put our lights on to use.
No, but anyway, this is, I don't know what she's going to do, but anyway, it is in there.
Well-
And he did, and actually George did say that, I did say to him, I don't know about that side of it, because it's not in the actually application, but he's quite right to pointed it out, I think.
I think we could put
Something on
our
that.
common
We
Otherwise,
can certainly
it's
ask them to, they may not comply, but
No.
we can certainly suggest it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, sorry.
Do you have to have planning permission for lights?
Yeah, but that's a separate,
It's a
that has to be
separate-
included in the application.
I mean, it would
No.
be considered as a potential nuisance to your neighbours, wouldn't it? If they
Yes,
are
yes.
proper floodlights.
Isn't
Yes.
it like pollution?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but anyway,
No mention of stabling at all.
well, there are some existing
Existing
stables
It's
there.
already there.
Yeah, they're there,
Peter?
I like to propose that we accept it
yes.
on the grounds that there's no floodlights and also that the menage has built a proper equestrian bedding or whatever it is.
Well, here, there's a kind of, in the design statement, which I suppose that's good.
Yeah.
But then that doesn't tell you here, actually.
What materials
It's
is it?
just that there's some cowboys around that will
Yes.
tell you that
The
it's...
proposed details show the proposed layout in relation to the surrounding houses and buildings, but doesn't say how it's going to be done.
Yeah.
And,
They could be sand schools, can't they, Cynthia?
pardon?
They can be sand, can't they?
Yes, they can be sand,
Yeah.
they can be, there's all kinds of stuff you can put down, depends what you like, really.
Rubber and all sorts.
Yes.
We've got strict time.
It's okay.
But,
So we're accepting the proposal, yeah?
he has a,
Can we have a vote on the acceptance of the proposal, subject to the two qualifications that we said?
And the reason for acceptance?
We're not allowed to put subject
well, I think
to,
it's,
though, are we?
personally, I thought it was, you know, for, obviously these are for young children and when they're growing up, and obviously it's important they do have somewhere like that because they school their ponies.
Yeah.
So it's amenities really,
They're not-
amenity.
young person amenities.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And they're obviously going to, you
During the hours
know,
of
do
daylight.
jumping and stuff, and they're having a proper area.
Do we need to
really.
say anything about the nature of the material?
Well, I've nothing in here that I can see,
Right, what's the next one?
but now the
Can
next
we just
one,
clarify this one first? It's important that
you get this right.
So accept the proposal on the grounds of amenities.
Yes, I
Particularly
provide an amenity for equestrian use, that's what I put.
To young people.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
do you want me to put the condition on there about the lighting, even though they may not take any notice of it, of course?
Well, I think it's important we mention
Yeah.
it, because if
Well,
somebody
I could
We've
put
mentioned it, it's down in
But
writing.
the parish council are concerned
Yes.
about future lighting, floodlighting.
Would be
That's
considered.
right, yeah, so we've had on
intrusive, I think, is what
Previous.
I put, because if they want lighting on the low down, that's not going to hurt anyone, is it?
well, if they want to put lighting, they must come back to the council.
About,
Obviously, they're going to
lighting.
do something, because
Would be considered
Well,
as
she can't be down there
inappropriate
in the
lighting
night.
was
No,
considered for the
you
future.
must have electricity down there already.
Lighting was
yeah, it
considered
must
for
be,
the
because
future.
they've got the,
Suppose they
I
have
don't
to put
know.
it in
Well,
before
it
they
doesn't
do
give
the
you that
actual...
detail.
No, it's not fair to the people that live around.
Sorry.
I think that the lighting input, electrical input, has only been stated so that it complies
Yes,
with the flood
design statement,
levels,
yes, that's true,
or possible flood levels,
Yeah.
yes.
not necessarily for use.
It may be they've got heating or something
There
in
was
the
another
stable,
point before we
hot water. in the stable.
completely finish this. when George came to see me, because he lives there, he said that part of the field can get really wet, but obviously they must know that themselves.
Well, you're building
And I
up.
don't think it's going to affect flood levels or anything like that.
Building up above the rest of the
Yes.
field, maybe avoid it.
Yes.
I know,
It's going to be done.
you know, with our horses, is that
Yes.
by standing in the arena, it doesn't rot their feet because there is no water.
No.
So no matter how much it rains, if they've got a proper substrate, you know, whether it be sand or whether it's shredded tyres or whatever, or
Well, it's not going to
chip
affect
bark,
anyone anyway.
it does all drain away.
Yeah.
Not like grass.
There is a ring there anyway.
Yes,
It's
and they've got a
Yeah.
soak away to
Naturally
take
drainage.
excess water, it says here. So, you know,
Okay.
that's that. Right, we'll have to get the next one now because this is the one.
This is the one in...
Unfortunately, I haven't got a lot of detail. I'm just being found it difficult to get it online. Just through the plans properly. Has everyone had a look at these? Let's get back to the thing with this. No, this is the other one, isn't it? Right. Okay, this is for, this is 07/16/0014, okay. This is erection of single-storey extensions to north-east side and northwest rear elevations at 8 Laurel Avenue for Mr. B. Evans. I haven't got a note really on this because, as I say, we looked online and it wasn't very easy to see the plans. So basically, it's a matter of anyone looking at this. That is there's another of these, which was getting obviously done in the application. The plans there.
Top of the technical.
No, it's not. It's one next to it.
I think it's next to it, there's blue.
No, it's not.
No,
The next one.
that's,
Family.
I don't know. No, why? No, it doesn't say.
No, it's difficult to see from the plans what exactly the existing footprint is and what the new footprint is.
1, 2, 3, that's the beginning.
Just going across the front, so that it being a driveway.
Single story side rear extension. No, it's not started with that one.
Joined to the neighbour at all.
It's a semi-detached, Peter.
It's the, if you know Laurel Avenue, it's just, if you go down there, it's on the right hand side.
Yeah.
It's on up before the end.
I think it's...
Yeah.
So there's demolishing that garage.
No, you haven't got it. There's what the
Well,
fence
the
is.
shed is that, yes.
Oh, yes, right, it's
It does say here that regarding the parking, will it affect car parking arrangements? And he's put yes, then it says please describe, and they have, what's that, 90?
Yeah, that's what they're going to do, by the look of it, is demolish that garage and fill the drive-in all the way down. So they're going to have no garage, but they're going to create this,
Yeah, and then have an extension.
these two
Yeah.
rooms here.
And that's going to come forward, isn't it? Because that's obviously the sunlight, and that's the sun.
It doesn't project much, so it only projects there. And there's two car parking spaces in front of it. So what it is a demolition of that small garage there, and then they're going to fill it in, and it's going to come forward of the property a little bit. So that's looking at the top,
yes, you can see
looking
that,
at the
yes.
top, and essentially it's going to go. Actually, it's going to go down the property and across the back, isn't it?
Yes, it says
Yes.
north-east.
Yes,
It's
yes.
the back and
So it's
side.
going to go
That's
right
the back.
across the back.
And then up the side.
There's the garage.
There's the original house.
Yeah, yeah. And
That's across the back, that one, isn't it?
so it's going to go down the side
And across the back.
and right across the back here. There.
Have a single story.
Wow.
All single story. So it's huge. It's going to
Good thing.
double the size. So that's all the new part across there, and they're going to knock out the external walls to create these bigger rooms. That sounds like a bit of an overdevelopment to me.
It's quite big, isn't it?
And not,
Yeah,
that
well,
was not
looking at
Cracking that.
Looking at the plans showing the parking,
Yes.
they seem to have changed the way the parking runs. They've turned it 90 degrees.
I don't think
It's
that makes any difference.
No, there's parking.
That was the garage.
There's parking straight in front of the house.
it's in front of the house,
It's
is
in
it?
front of the
Ah.
house.
It doesn't
So-
say demolishing, does
So
it?
they're going to go down the side of the house,
Yes.
and across the back, and then they're going to knock through the existing external walls at ground floor level into the new extension.
Development is larger than the existing house.
Yes, I think it does.
Huge.
That's very, it
Have
is
there
very
been
big.
any comments from neighbours?
Well,
You know,
we don't know, when we looked on, we did look on that Monday, wasn't it?
Yes.
But,
And I haven't got anything wrong, but it has been a recent one. It was quite a recent.
yes, it was, we only just got
Week to 10
it.
days or so.
And we haven't had this until tonight, so when we looked online at plans, it was very difficult because you couldn't read,
There's
the
no
writing was so
design access
tiny.
statement.
Peter?
I propose rejection, rejection on grounds of overdevelopment, and the materials aren't in keeping with the rest of the
Yeah.
Reuse, yeah. Because is it wood?
timber, isn't it?
It's timber cladding.
Well, that could be quite nice, because cladding isn't bad, is it? But I think it's the size.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's doubling
it's a big shed, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a big shed, yeah.
I mean, it won't impact on next door very much.
No.
It will just impact on the adjoining property. When they're doing all this, it's going to make a big impact on that place.
That's right, it will do.
And if they're parking at the front, they'll need access over the curb to
No,
that
they've
parking.
they've already got
Right,
access anyway.
But if you look at it, it's extending the access. See, they've probably got that drive there, but they want to go up here as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, yeah.
Is that a legitimate objection over development?
Well, let's think about it.
We did that with
And
George.
character with the
We
street.
did that with George's Plumbing.
Yeah.
George's Plumbing, one house opposite
Yes,
the
we
Red
did, didn't
Cow. We said it was overdevelopment of the and
we? If they can
Overshadow-
modify it, I suppose.
overdevelopment and making a big impact on the adjoining house.
Yeah.
That's what we said with George, and he resubmitted it.
Unfortunately,
So-
there's not a design and access statement, is there? So
No,
we don't
there
know the
isn't anything
reason.
with it, apart from the flooding thing, which they have to have.
Well, you can adjust on the design.
As we are going to, but we need to make a decision tonight, don't we, on this one?
Well, we do,
We
only
need to have to get
because
it.
we've got a limited time frame in which to do
Yes.
so.
What is the time?
Well, it's normally 21 days from the time that the planning application was dated. So what was the date of the plan?
It's not.
Yeah, but take May 26th.
It certainly means
Hang on a
that
minute,
if
hang on.
we object, it'll have to go before the planning commission.
I'm just conscious, Peter, that we may be having to reconvene a meeting because there's another planning application came in tonight,
It'll be too late.
and I didn't know whether we could join the two together.
It'll be too late.
Mr Chairman, sorry to butt in, but we are making a decision on the basis of the documentation that's been presented to us. No further information has been provided. On that basis,
Yes, I
we
know.
have every right to refuse the application
Yeah.
on
It's
those
right,
grounds.
isn't it, on that?
One, we haven't got sufficient information. Two, the architectural design is not probably suitable for the area in which it's going. And three, it's an overdevelopment.
It's an
There's a
overdevelopment.
forum here
But don't
also that Cynthia pointed out. He's tipped, yes, it's going to affect bulk parking. He hasn't.
Oh, yes,
he
he
put
did,
yes.
asked him
Please
to.
state why, and he hasn't stated. So
As
Yes.
Colin said, that's really part of this comment that Colin just raised in terms of lack of information.
Yes, that's right. There's nothing there. Well, there's a number, but I don't know what that means. 19, 20, 16, drawing
Oh,
07.
that's
Oh,
the-
drawing 07.
Yeah,
It
it
can
was,
always come back, anyway, can't it?
it's just put 3 dotted
They
lines.
don't have to make some amendments to it anyway, so they'll come back if they're making amendments.
Which has to be, this has to be in observation we wish to make by 23rd July.
We won't be here until September.
No, well, that's right, see, so you have got to do
Well, I
something.
think it was
I think
Colin's,
we
I
looked
think you
at
just
it.
go what you've got basically. You've got to go with
Well,
what
that's
you've
it.
got.
But I don't think,
Did you make a note of the points Colin's made?
I've got here reject on the basis of overdevelopment of the site and insufficient design info and also unsuited to the local street scene.
Yeah.
Does that summarise your key issues?
no, that's
The local
Windows
street
7.
scene. Why? Because of the cladding.
That's relating to that.
Make it away with it.
There.
Yeah.
If yes, please
It's
describe.
supposed to extend the,
And that we own it, we're
It is going to affect it, so where's the, well, he's put parking. Is this,
yeah, but it
This
was,
is
the drive was
existing.
all in his report, and now he's opening up another car
oh,
wash.
that's proposed, yeah, I see.
do we want to just talk about that one that's just come in? Not to say,
No,
we'll talk about it.
Well, we've
just
got one
think
from Westbrook Park,
about
Westbrook
how
Farm.
we're going to deal with it.
Now, I don't know whether
No,
between...
that's up road.
Can we deal with this one
Can we
first?
finish
Because we haven't finished it. We had a proposal,
Can
it
we
hasn't been seconded, and it hasn't been voted on. Sorry.
Yeah, you will.
So can we
If you
have,
made a proposal, I will second.
and all those in favour?
Anybody against?
Sorry.
Unanimous.
And
Okay, that's fine. I'll go with that.
we had there's an application that's has come in tonight. Well, we've been advised that it's going to come tonight. And it will want a decision before our September meeting. So the question is, can we have a special planning meeting
On the 27th,
on 27th of July?
which is a Wednesday.
What, is that a Wednesday?
Sounds very
I'm on
data.
holiday, and so a bit of that, isn't it?
Right. How many people?
Because what we might do before then, because we may end up with more applications. And of course, it's not likely, it might not just be this one, it might be others.
Might be others.
What is the application for?
Yeah, could be a...
Westwood Farm, they want to build extra caravan site on a
It's Westbrook Farm extending what they've already done in the past, basically.
Usually does it, and then he lets us know.
Retrospective.
So, I mean, are you happy to have a meeting on that day?
Yeah,
One,
yes, that's right, yeah.
meeting 27th.
Okay. For July. I'll put what back.
Can you accept my apologies now?
Yeah, sure.
Please.
Oh.
I'm on holiday.
Okay,
Oh, Rob is.
any other business, Bob?
Sorry.
Right, moving on. Peter, report on footpaths.
footpaths, I had a very irate farmer visit me early this evening, saying that the gates that we've had put in all around the countryside is really annoying her, because people are leaving them open, and her Devon cows are wandering all over the place, and the 13 of the youngsters got into Mr. Tibbs's maze after
Oh, no.
1, 2, 3 gates were left open, not just wicket gates, but field gates, gateway gates, and really done a lot of damage to his maze. I mean, his maze has only just become established, and she wanted to know.
Which gate is she referring to?
Well, the one, if you come up along the railway, if you go between the houses opposite the Red Cow, walk
No, I
out,
don't use that one.
walk out, so it's not you that's doing
No,
that.
it's not. No, but I mean, I don't know.
I can cross you off the list.
No. No.
If you go then into the field where you turn to come back towards Ivyclad Hall before the railway, that gate was left open. The next gate was left open. Well, I told her, Mr. Tibbs is going to change this gate anyway, because that's not a footpath, a permissible footpath, we don't let people use it. But it's caused an awful lot.
Is it a bit, the field that's nearest to the village? That one? The big Maysdale, where willow trees and
Yeah.
oh my God.
Mr Chairman, can I just ask, are you talking about the galvanised gates that we put in along the Reen that runs out towards? They've been left, normally they self-close once you've gone through them.
Yeah, but it's the big,
Well, they
The
shouldn't
big
be,
gate
there's
then?
no need to open the big
no,
gate.
I know people are.
Well, the reason they open the big gate then probably is because there's a huge step up and down on one of them in particular.
That's right.
And what we need is our friendly sleepers put in there probably across there to fill that gap. Because the first one, from memory, the first one in particular,
It's very hard.
which is adjacent to where you turn into the cornfield if you want to go
That's
in,
right.
is very high.
And they didn't leave that alone.
That's that. That's that.
But I don't see why they can't. You really think that's high, the step?
It is
Not
quite
that bad.
It's not high.
I don't think it's, but it's high compared with some cities.
Truly.
Can I just say that you can't cater for people doing stupid things like leaving doors open, gates open, any more than you can cater for people leaving their dogs missing in the street. But we can keep reminding them that this is serious, certainly for the farmer, and probably for the cattle as well. And we should put a reminder in the BKN, that's very strongly worded.
Why can't we put a sign on the gate?
I was just going to say, could we do that?
Either side of the gate.
Well, yes,
Well,
we could
the
do
farmers-
that as well.
landowner could do that.
Well,
I only could put signs on the gate, please go.
But you can't cater for idiots, can you?
Yeah, that's the first instance it wouldn't go to put a reminder
Lord
in
help
the
us,
BKN.
help
However,
themselves.
we are going to be in September about it. But
Actually,
I just think it would show our responsibility as councillors to the community
Yeah.
and the farmers and landowners that we are prepared to help them maintain their land and protect their livestock.
Yeah.
And it's a simple thing. If we can put a sign above a dog bin, please put your stuff in the bin, we can put a sign on a gate saying, please will you close
They
it?
still prefer to
actually,
leave it on my
what will
verge.
happen is that the farmer will not want you going through their land.
Yeah, well, they'll insist on putting style down.
Yes,
Unless we
well,
electrify the gates, but the rank surely
Yes.
electric 1.2 metres above the ground.
I rest my case.
how many gates and how many signs are needed then?
Go around the whole village, couldn't you?
We'll just put them on the two main ones that have caused the problem.
and the big ones, so people will see it, because truly they won't read them otherwise.
I think a healthy but strong reminder wouldn't go amiss.
I think definitely that.
Yeah.